to another Sunday speed paint. We are back at it again with more of my 100 OCs. Today I'm going to be drawing 10 OCs, so let's get started. First up we have Draco, which is an adopt character that I got off of Amino, which I wasn't actually sure if I was going to have a sort of tech or electronic or android-like character in my roster of OCs, because most of the characters that I have are actually for fantasy and not really sci-fi or modern technology added into them, but this is one of the characters that I had a lot of fun with, and if I ever needed for any stories, I have them available, and I thought about where the energy is stored for the blade that they have would actually be in their legs, and it kind of just powers through their body, and they have long hoses so that they can move their arms with great speed in any angle without the problem of having bones to get in the way. And the next character we have is Haze. I adore Haze because Haze is kind of like a fallen angel cat, and I love the idea for them being unknown and mysterious on whether or not they are actually evil or not. I always love those traits with some of the characters that I create, because they could be absolutely mischievous, or they could be mistaken, and they're actually a lot more pure. I like breaking the stereotypes, and Haze is definitely one of those characters. That, and the fact that they have the inverted eyes is a partial secret for some, not all, of the characters in my world that might have relation to dark magic. So pay attention to that if you guys like some Easter eggs for the Dawn of Gale's webtoon. Moving right along, we have Thistle, a bunny character of mine that I just adore so very much. Out of all of the characters that I have for companion characters and more feral characters, Thistle is my favorite. I love the fluffiness and the bright blue that is among all of the natural colors. I just imagine their fur being super soft and would be a great companion to snuggle with. I don't know how I would do with bunnies because I have some allergies to some cat and dog hair, but not sure how that would go with bunnies. May not know, because bunnies can be a lot to care for, but for Thistle, in the story, I was thinking about adding some new lore to the world for some of the characters that have to live in more burrows or in trees and such, and I can imagine having some more coyotes and bunnies for some of the side scenes when Vixie is traveling. So, look forward to some of that for the Dawn of Gale's comic for more environments. And then we have Nolan, my favorite wolf boy. I love him. I made so many animation memes that I was going to add, but I never finished them all, and I love the idea for this character that they have a phobia of blood, and they have an unintentional habit wherever they go, bad luck strikes. They have an uncontrollable kind of habit where they get into fights, but then when they snap out of it, it's just they're terrified, and they don't want to hurt people around them, but they have such immense power. And the more I say this, the more I realize it sounds like Beastars, but this character was before Beastars, so no connection whatsoever. I just thought it was kind of fun. Next we have my pirate boy, my parrot Royce character. I love this character because I imagine them in the world to not plunder and pillage and steal things with violence, but more so with their words and their charm, where they use friendly, slightly mischievous demeanors that might catch you off guard. An oddly polite pirate out of the blue suddenly approaches you, inquiring about all of the fancy trinkets that you have and where you got them from, wanting to explore the lands and find it for their own. Next thing you know, you've just been pickpocketed, or perhaps charms you with words in a different language, knowing many different languages and trying to pretend like they don't know where they are and speaking a different language to make you confused and not really think, oh, they don't live here, they must not know, so let me try to help them. And then you lose all of your treasure and gold because they have swathed and charmed you out of it. Next we have a character called Medley, based off of one of my closest friends, but is not a persona for them or like a self-insert kind of thing. It's more of just a character based off of a few of the traits, but is entirely their own character. This character, Medley, is a potions alchemist where they make potions just kind of without really following instructions, and there's a reason behind why they do so. You'll just have to read the comic to find out more about them, but they have sort of like that 9 life kind of thing going on where when an accident happens, they just get right back up on their feet and they try again, and perhaps luck is running out for them. I also had a lot of fun with making the outfits, because each of the outfits for some of the characters have distinct gems on them, and I kind of wanted to build up the lore of why some of these characters have specific gems and the powers that might come with them, or the nobilities behind certain gems and shapes and sizes. Moving right along, we have Rabies. I adore this character and the design. I love this weird little galaxy thing that's been floating around on Instagram, whether it's a closed species or an open species. I've seen so many different versions of them, but I'm not entirely sure what Rabies falls under for the category, but I don't think that Rabies is going to be in the Dawn of Gales, if anything more of like side stories or when I want to practice animating, because this character, trying to animate something that is galaxy and see-through would be a bit of a hard task to do, but not impossible. Rabies is one of the few characters that when I look at them, I just imagine them having unhinged anger, and they just love fighting, and the fact that they have the inverted eye kind of thing where their eyes are yellow and their teeth are green, and they just have what I consider sort of like a galaxy flame going on. I'm having so much fun with all of these unusual designs that are what would have been one-offs that I can create mini stories out of. The next character that we have is Magnolia, and I love this character so much. One of the things that I'm not sure about yet is what specifically I want Magnolia to be. What I mean by this is I don't know if I really want them to be just a really handsome boy, or if they are non-binary. I really don't know. I wasn't sure when I had gotten them as an adopt what I really was aiming for, but I know that I adore the changes that I had for the size, because some of the sizes that the artists, when I get adoptables, usually make them in a chibified form, and it's just quite not what I imagine when I have them, and getting the freedom to redesign them a few times over until I like how they look is something that I enjoy when getting new characters and adding stories to them. If you guys have seen my last video about making OCs, you'll know a little bit more about what I'm talking about when I talk about the redesigns versus just making a character from scratch. And Magnolia is definitely one character that I have a lot to explore of still, and I have a lot to go for them for their story, but I'm enjoying it a lot. Some challenges came with drawing this character. Say hello to Dave, and I had a heck of a time, because this is probably one of the more complex designs out of all of the characters that I have, but had so much fun because of the personality that I could put into this character. For the Dawn of Gales, I imagine this character is super adventurous, super outgoing, and very hard-headed. This character reminds me of a bull mixed with a lion, just because of the way that they are, having that pride behind them to back them up, and just, if ever encountering them, don't mess with them, because they might have a crew. They might be that person who everybody knows in that town who can help you out, but if you mess with them, be prepared for their army of friends to back them up, because they know exactly what they're doing. And I love that pridefulness kind of thing, where it's stubborn as a bull and is powerful as a lion, and has that kind of leadership and power inflection to their voice. And last but certainly not least, we have Comet. Comet is a character that I just imagine is an illusionist who likes to con people on the streets for money, but is the only way that they really know how to make a good living, because they don't really have any magic attributions to them, and they're not good at most of the other skills, such as metal working or working in a flower shop or a potion shop, so they decide to do illusions and trickery through some of the sleight of hand tricks. And I just imagine that they also play up the cute cat aspect, where they can change the pitch of their voice to a more cutesy, more innocent kind of young teenager who's out on the road and doesn't know what they're doing, but still, at the end of the day, will laugh in your face because they know that they have succeeded and they are living their best life that they can. One of the things that I enjoy about having so many of these characters is to imagine the interactions that they might have with each other, and trying to figure out if they would be friends or enemies and how they would interact with each other, whether it is that they are all interacting in the Dawn of Gales, or if some of my other characters outside of it would even get along with them or not. And I just love this so much, and I'm excited to continue this series and bring to you guys so many more of these 100 characters. This is just scratching the surface of about 30 characters at the start point. Thank you all so much for making it to the end of this video. I hope you guys have been enjoying the 100 characters, still scratching the surface, and only have gotten about a good 30 of these drawn out. And if you guys are not already part of that subscriber squad, please be sure to put your paws to that subscribe button for weekly notifications. I also have a Patreon available. It helps the channel out, and you can get your name read out at the end of the credits. I also have behind-the-scenes exclusive access, and so much more. Thank you all so much. Stay possum. Bye-bye.